Mr. Chairman, nearly a year ago, you and Ranking Member Cummings requested documents from Governor Rick Snyder about how the Flint water crisis occurred and what the governor was doing to address it. I wanted to give you public recognition for your boldness and your commitment, and this being a bipartisan issue, because we knew that this was a horrific event, that people were being poisoned by drinking water in our great country. The goal of the amendment is for the committee to consider issuing a subpoena to Governor Snyder for documents he has refused to give to the committee. I would like to note that our document request was bipartisan. It was not one side or the other. It was agreed upon and signed in a bipartisan way. Therefore, I think the subpoena is necessary and the committee is justified in issuing one. For instance, Governor Snyder has not produced any key documents about how he addressed the crisis. The governor's lawyers wrote that it would cost too much money to respond to the committee's request for these documents. I've sat in these committees and have served in the 114th Congress. Would we accept an excuse like this from any other government agency? We have not, and I don't think we should now. We know that Governor Snyder's response to the crisis was totally inadequate. The people of Flint today, Mr. Chairman, still cannot drink the water coming from their faucets because it's still not safe. Without key documents the governor is withholding, we don't know why the governor was slow to act and so ineffective at solving the problem. We have other reasons to subpoena the governor, too. Governor Snyder admitted that he routinely destroyed emails. He destroyed emails. He said he eventually stopped doing that, but has refused to turn over evidence to prove that. Will we trust any other government agency that tells us that? I have sat through the 114th Congress, and the discussion and issue of destroying emails have been one we have stood firm as a committee against. Why would we trust any other government that has done that? I don't think so, and not without proof. Last week, Ranking Member Cummings and I sent you a letter in which we asked you to allow the committee to debate and vote on this subpoena. Unfortunately, we have not received a response from you. On December 16th, a month earlier, Ranking Member Cummings sent you a letter describing the many ways Governor Snyder has refused to provide the documents that you and Mr. Cummings requested on February 26, 2016. Unfortunately, you did not respond to that letter either. Instead, you decided to close the committee's investigation. Mr. Chairman, respectfully, I feel that that was premature. I am speaking, and I have been documenting, the records will show this is not a political stance. This is a passion. This is something that I know is wrong that happened in America. And Mr. Chairman, I still believe when this committee answered the plea of the Flint residents, we held 3 hearings to investigate it. And I publicly, again, applaud you for your leadership. I also remember, Mr. Chairman, you personally went to Flint and made public promises that this committee would get the answers. I have stood with you and supported you on this because I, too, being a part of this committee and a resident of Michigan, have told the residents that we would get answers. But here we are today, 1 year later, still waiting for documents. Is this committee going to let him get away with that, offer this amendment, because the committee must decide that question? Let's work together to complete this investigation properly with answers to the men and women and children of the city of Flint.